So land leases are seen as an innovative way, or is it to attain home ownership? But they have some issues, and I'm hoping that this motion will precipitate the government, the current government, future governments. Look at this. I'm going to give a description of of a project in Timiskaming, Cochrane, 3 actually, that are very innovative. They're so innovative that no one really knows what to do with them. And I've brought these to the attention of the Minister of Municipal Affairs. And again, I'm not being critical because they are innovative, but there could be problems. And they're called Boreal medieval villages. And you can, I am not part of the Boreal medieval village. I am not trying to sell shares. And what this is so in Northern Ontario, there is unorganized territory. So basically townships that have no municipal government. The government is actually the province. And in these townships, there is no real, the government is responsible for the planning. The government, and I believe there is another one now I look, remember Parry Sound? I think there's another one in Parry Sound. But the government has no, the planning is the responsibility of the province, and as a result, there is much less planning. And that is actually why many people move to unorganized areas, because other than a septic permit, technically, there's no other permits required to build. I have a camp in an unorganized territory, and many people move to unorganized territories because of that, because of the freedom, and very upfront, the tax burden is quite a bit less. But the Boreal medieval village concept, they buy, I will call it a numbered company, or they buy a chunk of land, usually on a lake, 100 acres, 150 acres, 200 acres. They will leave a certain amount of land close to the water as communal, and the rest of this area, they will subdivide into half-acre lots, unofficially, because there is no planning in unorganized townships. And then they will sell these lots to prospective homeowners or campers or whatever. And and for people who are buying these lots, and I just off the top of my head, I believe one of the projects in my area the lots started at $3,000, and they were gone right away, because that's very, very reasonable. And for many, it's a dream come true. But the issue is there could be problems. There could be some, I'm not saying there has to be problems, but there could be problems for the very fact that there is no planning rules. And so the lot owners don't technically have a deed, because the deed belongs to the numbered company. I might have some of the terms wrong, but the deed belongs to the numbered company. And there's also, the rules are set within the community. It's kind of like, now many of us, and I too for the first time in my life, live in a condo for 6 months a year, because I rent a condo here because of this job. It's kind of like a condo corporation, but no rules. Like it's the Wild West of land leases. And it draws many people. People from the tiny house movement, but also people from the back to the land movement, people from many movements. And the Timiskaming Municipal Association, for one, has expressed concern because these subdivisions, with no overall planning, increase the demands on our local hospital system, on many of our public services. But there's no real, because there's no planning involved, there's no assessment really, and it could work. And they're sold out. But as I see some of the members across the way shaking their heads, anyone who's been involved in municipal politics or provincial politics can see that there might be some problems coming. And so I'm glad that this that this motion is coming forward and that I have the opportunity to bring this forward, not only on behalf of the many residents in Timiskaming, Cochrane who are concerned, but also on behalf of people who are buying these lots and need to know what their rights are. And also on behalf, they need to know, because there are no, so I bring this up on many occasions. So 911 numbers, they have one 911 number, but 100 lots subdivided any which way they community desires. How do we find someone who needs help? How, all this is possible, but the reason over the years that we have developed our planning system and I know sometimes we don't like rules and regulations and we argue about how many there should be, but I don't think too many of us are going to argue against having building permits in a subdivision. But that is not required in the Boreal medieval village. So every half acre, and it's advertised as such, that no building permits required. So no building inspection required either. Now, where some of them are going to run into problems is if you want to build something that's going to need a mortgage, then you might run into problems. But it is an issue that this government or future government need to look at. It's innovative, it's creative, and it provides for someone who under our current housing conditions, pardon me, might never be able to afford their chunk of paradise, and that's how it's sold. And you know what? And there are a lot of chunks of paradise in Northern Ontario, across the province. But paradise without planning, I'm not sure it's always going to be paradise. And this is happening. This isn't something that's going to happen. This is happening. So I've made the Minister of Municipal Affairs aware, and now I've made, through this motion, I have made the House aware that when something goes wrong, you can't say that nobody told me, because I'm telling you. I'm telling the Ministry of Municipal Affairs. And I don't really know what our next step is. I gotta say, I went to one, and this isn't gonna, I'm gonna tell a story. So, it's not a bad story. Kevin, there's going, oh no, not again. So this summer, I found one of the boards. They're private, so you just don't. And there was a few people there, and they were making roads, and doing it with tractors, and there was, there was no hard hats involved. There was no safety tape involved, no cones. And I gotta say, Speaker, on a beautiful summer day, a couple farm tractors making roads, I kind of want to stop and see if they wanted a mayor. It was idyllic. But we all know that without planning, things tend not to stay idyllic. Now, the promoters of the concept have been quite open, talking about how they're going to handle the wastewater from these lots, the sewage from these. So they are going to use environmentally friendly composting toilets. But again, there's no real regulation of this. And the grey water, there's no real regulation either. And there is no building inspection. And that is a safety concern. And we all know it. And so I'd like to commend the member for bringing this forward. I urge the member and the government and the Minister of Municipal Affairs to take into account and have a good look at the Boreal medieval village concept and make sure that that the people buying in, that their safety is being protected. Not just financial, but their personal safety. And with that, I'd like to thank you very much for the time.